Hello, welcome to a sun, moon, star and night themed celestial video. I am wearing my sun and moon t-shirt. You can't really see it, it's a little bit out of frame, but I made an effort because this is a celestial themed book recommendations video. I have pulled 10 books off of my shelves. There were more, but I've narrowed it down to 10. So if you do want any more, let me know. But these are all books that in their title contain something linked to either the sun, the stars, the moon, the night, or like Zodiac-esque things. So they're titles only. I'm not talking about the actual plot of the books, just the titles. So I thought this would be a fun video idea to do. I think out of all the books I've got here, I have read half of them and half of them are still on my shelf slash TBR to get to. So there should be a decent mix here, although that does mean I'm gonna have to try and do that thing where I read the blurb, remember the blurb, and then try and reinterpret the blurb to you guys, which I always really struggle with. So let's dive in. I've kind of broken this down into themes. I have moon, I have stars, I have zodiac, and I have night. Now we're going to start with night because I am very excited about one of the books in this pile. And that book is Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuznia. This is the hardback arc, which is beautiful. I was very kindly sent this by the publishers, HQ Stories, and I think it's the prettiest arc I will ever own. Stunning. This is a Nutcracker retelling. It is immensely magical. It is stunning. If you have read the Nutcracker or if you've watched any film adaptations or if you've seen the ballet, you'll know that this story is very magical. This takes place in another realm. It is very winter themed. It is very beautiful descriptions, and the foods in this book are stunning. But I love the journey our main character goes on as she kind of enters into this land and doesn't really know what's going on and has to work out what she's doing there, how she can get back home and what she actually wants from her life. She's a ballet dancer as well, so I love that we've got that tie-in from the ballet show, of course. And the general plot of this is just beautiful and I love it, and the writing is fantastic. This comes out in October this year, so do pre-order a copy. The cover has now been released, which is very exciting. WATERSTONES have a special edition that is stunning. Just seriously check this one out because it's just great. But this is Midnight in Everwood, so you've got midnight. Midnight is themed within this video. Then we have got The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. How could I not? I haven't actually spoken about this book for a very, very long time, but this features two different magicians who are put against each other from childhood as they have this huge competition that they have to go against each other to win and use their magical abilities to be able to craft these fantastic things. And honestly, the magic system in this is so hypnotizing. It's limitless, it feels like. I absolutely love what we get to see in this book, but I also enjoy the two different sides that we've got with these two different rival magicians that are being tutored by these two rivals of each other and how that pans out. It's actually been a very long time since I've read this book, but the imagery of this, particularly some of the tents that we see the competition take place in and the creations that these magicians have made inside these tents, is still really visual for me, so I think that really shows a very good book. I know a lot of people have probably read this one already, but it has night in the title. These next ones are all star themed. This is where I have the most book recommendations in this theme. Apparently a lot of books like to have star in the title, but the first one is Under a Dancing Star by Laura Wood. This is a Much Ado About Nothing retelling, and I recommend this one at any chance I get when it's relevant because I thought it was lovely. It is set in a summer in Italy as a young girl is sent there from England by her parents to spend the summer over there with her family, and the plot of Much Ado About Nothing ensues within this adapted 1930s, I think it's set? Yeah, 1930s version of the story. I loved it. There's a bohemian theme running through it. There's lots of artists and it just feels so full of passion and creativity that I just adored it. Then we have got The Sun is Also a Star, which kind of ticks the box of sun as well as star, but you know, many different boxes ticked here for a celestial themed title. This is by Nicola Yoon, and this features one day in two teens' life as they are kind of crossing paths and end up spending the day together, except one of them is due to be deported at the end of that day and she has one day left, and she spends it with this guy who I forgot the name of. Daniel? Daniel, yes! So it's Natasha and Daniel, and Natasha is getting deported at the end of the day and she spends that day with Daniel, and it's a beautiful story and I sobbed my eyes out, and I won't watch the film. I want to, I really want to, but I don't know if I can do it yet because one, I don't know if it's going to live up to the book. Two, am I just going to cry again? Like, constantly, because that's what this book did to me. And I remember I was reading it and then my mom called me for dinner. I read it, when did I read this? 2016? When did it come out? 2016, 2017? And my mum called me for dinner and I remember going downstairs and like being absolutely sobbing and like makeup all over my face, just looked a mess because of this book. This book did that to me. Okay, this one kind of goes between the night theme and the stars theme, so well, this is also a crossover title. This is The Light of Midnight Stars by Rena Rosner. Now this is one I haven't read yet, so you're gonna have to bear with me as I attempt to tell you what it's about. From what I can grasp from this blurb, it is set in Hungary and it follows three sisters who have different magical abilities. They're descendants of a king, King Solomon. They're his descendants, and they are kind of trapped into a dangerous situation, although I don't really know what any of it is because the blurb pretty much just describes their different abilities. But at the end of the blurb it says each sister will have to make an impossible choice to survive and change the fate of their family forever. So basically danger finds these three sisters within this situation, they've got their magical abilities and they have to decide what they're going to do with them, I suppose. I am so sorry in advance for how awful my descriptions are of books that I haven't read. There is something with my brain where I read the page, the blurb, read it, retain it for about 2 seconds, and then it completely falls out of my brain. I don't know what it is, why. I don't know why. Does anyone else have this problem? I've spoken to people that have said that they do exactly the same thing, but it's really difficult when you're doing videos like this, and I don't think I've had to do it for a while. So that's my really poor description of this book. Magic sisters, danger, King Solomon's descendants, set in Hungary. Did I check? Yes, the Hungarian woods. Oh, and the top line is, this is how a fairy tale begins. So is this like a fairy tale origin story? I'm not sure. But now I've read the blurb, I want to read it because I enjoy reading about people with different magical abilities. So, oh, let's see what the magical abilities are. Maybe that would be fun. One of them can, oh, she can coax plants to grow. I like that. The other one can control fire, and one of them can read the path of the stars to decipher their secrets. Oh, this is perfect for this video recommendations. Perfect. I want to read this. I mean, obviously I want to read it, it's on my shelves, but like I want to read it now. Okay, I would be the plant, the girl that can control the plants. Would you take plants, fire, or be able to read the stars? What would your preference be? I have 32 plants in my flat, so plants. Then we've got the very beautiful Star Daughter by Shveta Thakra. This is the fairy edition and oh my gosh, it's stunning. How could I not include this in this video? I mean, that cover alone is just, I mean, I know I said that these were just the titles that were celestial, but this is literally about somebody who is the daughter of a star. How could we not include it in this video? So this follows a daughter of a star as she is called back up to, I was about to say the land of the stars, but I guess that's the sky. And she is basically been called up to decide, to get involved in this competition so they can decide who's going to be like the next ruler of the stars, I think. I haven't read this one, but I do have a bit more of an idea in my head of what this one is actually about. I mean, I can't stop looking at this in the viewfinder. That cover is just so beautiful. I've heard really good things about this one and it is one that's been on my TBR for a while, as with so many books. My TBR is just, I mean, I should put myself on a book buying ban, but I just don't respond well to those kind of restrictions. I mean, I haven't bought any new books for a while, like maybe like a month. That's pretty good. Anyway, this is a recommendations video. And this is one of the books. Daughter of a Star. How could we not put it in this video? Finally, of these star themes, kind of, is The Starless Sea by Morgenstern? Kind of. This is a book about books, kind of. I need to stop saying kind of. It's also a book about time and fate and love and so many things. I really liked this when I was reading it and it felt very visual and I can still see the Starless Sea, like the actual image of that scene. But now I think back to it, I can't really remember what about it I really enjoyed. But we start with a character who has this mysterious book popping up and wants to find out a bit more about it and then gets involved in this much stranger situation than they bargained for and gets brought into this building, like this old hotel building thing. Do you know what? I literally read this just before lockdown, I think. Yeah, whenever it came out, I think I read it like late 2019. And I can't really remember as much of it as I would like to. Okay, so the thing about this book that this guy has found is it's got stories from his childhood in. So he's trying to find out what the hell this book is all about. and the building that I said was a hotel is actually a labyrinth filled with stories, and it's hidden beneath the surface of the earth. It's very dark in my head, like I can still see that very clearly in my head, and he just gets caught up in what the hell is happening and this world of stories. Basically, it's definitely a book about books, but also there's a lot going on in this, which is why it's really hard to recollect what exactly happens in it. I know that this splits a lot of people because it isn't necessarily the easiest read, but I think out of the two I prefer The Night Circus of Erin Morgenstern's books, but clearly she has a celestial theme going with her titles. The next book is Zodiac themed, and it is the only one I have that's Zodiac themed, but I mean, once I show you what it is, how could I not put it in a celestial themed recommendations video, because obviously all the stars make up the different zodiac signs, and this is the Zodiac Academy, The Awakening, book 1 in a series, by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is set in a school in which your star sign decides your fate, and there's basically people with different abilities in there, and we follow two twins who are, I think, represented by Gemini, I would assume. Yeah, twins born in the month of Gemini, and they, I think, might be changelings. And that is not okay. That's not allowed and has been completely outruled, so they're an issue on their own. These girls also have the rather unusual ability to be able to harness all 4 elements, which has never been known before. So when they turn up, stuff goes down, and it basically is a school adventure with magic, with celestial links, definitely, star sign links, and elemental magic. What's not to love? This one, it was quite a recent addition to my shelves, so I'm excited to read it. And I think it's part of a larger series. I don't know how many books are in the series, but I really like school magic-y type of books, so I'm really hoping this is a good one. But Zodiac, celestial, perfect. And the last 2 books on my recommendations here are moon themed, so they have got moon in the title. First up, we have got Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This is another stunning Fairy Loot edition. Fairy Loot just knocks it out of the park every time. This follows bone criers who have the ability to stop the dead purging on the living, which sounds like a rather unpleasant thing to happen. And the way they do that is they have to give up like a sacrifice to have this ability or something like that, so they have to give up their most true love. And our main character doesn't really like the idea of any of this at all, and doesn't like the fact that she has to kill this boy that she's meant to love. But also at the same time of this, her best friend is captured or goes missing. Again, this isn't one I've read, but please bear with my description. Yes, her best friend is captured, and she basically has to go and find out what's happening there and get her back, because that's not okay. So that's my amazing description of Bone Crier's Moon. Again, this was one I was really excited to read when it first came out, and I think sometimes if I don't read the book immediately, I just shelf it again, which is bad and silly, and I just shouldn't do that. But anyway, it's moon themed. And lastly, we have got Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. This is a Bolivian-inspired book, I believe, and it follows a main character who is a decoy for the last remaining member of royalty in this land. I believe this is a revenge story in which the decoy goes in place of the royal family member to marry this usurper who is the reason why there's no members of this royal family left. So she goes in her place there to just kind of evoke this huge revenge plot, I assume. Again, I haven't read this one, but this is what I've got from the blurb. Again, it's been on my shelf for a while, and actually I want to say a Fairy Loot edition again. I don't think the actual normal cover has this grey on it, but it's very pretty. Okay, that is me stumbling through this video over. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really sorry that the descriptions for the ones I hadn't read weren't the strongest, but that is just not my strength, really, which is bad when you make videos about books, but I can't just talk about the books I've read all the time, because I won't be able to keep up with the amount of videos I need to make, because I am not reading fast enough. But I hope you did enjoy it. Nevertheless, I think I can't talk anymore. I need to just stop. Thank you guys. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below any of the celestial themed book titles you can think of, and subscribe to see more of my face on your feed. I do weekly reading vlogs where I don't have to attempt to give you book descriptions unless I do a book haul, so that should be a good thing. I always have a Patreon link down below if you would like to support in any other way. There's lots of fun stuff happening down there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive.